Hello, sixth graders, and today we're moving on to 5.5, where we'll be talking about multiplying mixed numbers, right? Bunch of examples to show you today, and I want you to add a little bit of a reminder to start with, because the biggest thing that we're going to do today when we multiply mixed numbers is we're going to change mixed numbers to improper fractions. That's our first step in all these problems, and so it's really important that we remember how to do that. If you don't remember, let's just write it down to give ourselves a little reminder. So the way we do that is we take our whole number and we multiply that whole number. It's kind of a bad number sign. Whole number multiplied by denominator, and then add the numerator. Okay, so for this first example, I'll show you how to do that. It says multiply and write each answer in simplest form. Okay, always got to remember that. We have 1/4 times 1 1/3. 1 1/3 is a mixed number because it has a whole number with a fraction. So what we need to do is write 1/3 as an improper fraction. Okay, so to change from a mixed number to an improper fraction, I take my whole number and I multiply it by my denominator. So my whole number is 1. I multiply that by my denominator of 3. 1 times 3 is 3. And then add the numerator. 3 plus 1 would be 4. And I keep my original denominator. So since my denominator is 3, I keep that original denominator of 3. And again, I'm going to rewrite 1 1/3 now as 4/3 is 1 1/3 as an improper fraction. And now when I multiply fractions, I just multiply my numerators and I multiply my denominators. Sometimes I think of this as top times top and bottom times bottom. Right? So on top, multiplying my numerators, I have 1 times 4, which is 4, over on bottom, 4 times 3 is 12. So I have 4/12. And then I can simplify that a little bit. Remember, it needs to be in simplest form. Each 4 and 12 have a common factor of, what is their greatest common factor? Well, if you don't remember how to find it, remember, factors are the numbers that multiply. So to get to that number, so 1 times 4 and 2 times 2 would be the factors of 4. The factors of 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. So the greatest common factor that 4 and 12 have is 4. So what that means is I can divide my numerator and my denominator by 4. Divide by 4 on top and bottom. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So 1/3 would be my answer in simplest form. That is essentially the way that you're going to work through all of these problems, is first changing that mixed number to an improper fraction, and then multiplying top times top, bottom times bottom, and then simplifying in the end, right? So that's kind of the process. We'll do a few more examples together to make sure that you're kind of catching on as we go here. All right, letter B says 3.5 times 4/5. Again, I'm going to change 3.5 into an improper fraction. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and keep my denominator of 2. So this is 7 halves times 4/5. 7/2 is the same thing as 3.5. Multiply your numerators, multiply your denominators. I'm just going to abbreviate here. 7 times 4 would give me 28 over 10. And it looks like they're both even numbers, so I could divide them each by 2. I could divide all even numbers by 2. That would give me 14, and 10 divided by 2 would be 5. And then in the last step, let's rewrite my improper fraction back into a mixed number. So the way you do that is ask yourself, how many times does 5 go into 14? 2 whole times, which would be 10, and then 4 left over to get to 14, and 5 is my denominator. So 2 and 4/5 would be my final answer. And we'll do another one like those two, kind of similar. For letter C, it says 12/13 times 2 and 3/8. Once again, change 2 in my mixed number to an improper fraction. So 2 times 8 is 16, plus 3 is 19. 19/8 is my improper fraction. And then before I multiply these now, I'm going to simplify first. So what you can do is you can look diagonally and you can check to see if those have any common factors. So since 12 and 8 are both divisible by 4, let's simplify first. 8 divided by 4 would be 2, and 12 divided by 4 would be 3. That's how they got this 3 and 2. And if we look diagonally here, 13 and 19, do they have any common factors that we could simplify? And your answer would be no. They're both actually prime numbers, and 1 and 13 and 1 and 19 are their only factors. So there's nothing to make them any simpler. All right, now we can do top times top, bottom times bottom. And again, here all we did is use the greatest common factor to simplify before multiplying. That's what we did right here with that simplifying. All right, now on top, 3 times 19. Well, 3 times 20 would be 60. Take 3 less than that to give you 57. 3 times 20 would be 60, minus those 3, yep. And then 13 times 2 on bottom would give me 26. And then simplify. 26 goes into 57 2 whole times, which would be 52. And 57 minus 52 would be 5. And keep my denominator of 26. So 2 and 5, 26 would be my final answer, putting it back into a mixed number. All right, go ahead and flip your page. And in the next examples here, there's just 2 of them. We have a situation where we've got 2 mixed numbers now. So the only difference, remember, find each product means just multiply them. And again, put it in the simplest form. The only difference is now we have to do it twice. We have to make our mixed numbers into improper fractions twice, which isn't so serious. 1 times 3 is 3, plus 2 is 5. So 1 and 2/3 is the same as 5/3. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15/7 here. So same as 5/3 times 15/7. And multiply our numerators and multiply our denominators. You might notice that you could simplify first here. They're not going to do it in this example. We'll do it in the next in letter B here. Okay. So on top, 5 times 15 would give me 75 over bottom times bottom, or numerator times numerator, give me 21. And then write the improper fraction back into a mixed number. 21 goes into 75 3 times, which would be 63. And then 75 minus 63 would be 12 left over. Keep my denominator of 21. So 3 and 12, 21st. And you'll notice we can simplify because 12 and 21 have a common factor of 3. So dividing this by 3 and dividing 21 by 3 would give us 3 wholes remains the same. 12 divided by 3 for my numerator would give me 4. And 21 divided by 3 for my denominator would give me 7. So 3 and 4/7 would be my answer in simplest form. Okay. Let's do letter B, and it's similar, except now we're going to simplify before we multiply. Will be our only difference here. Okay, same first step. Make sure that we're changing our mixed number into an improper fraction. So 1 times 8 is 8, plus 3 is 11/8. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 2 is 12/5. Okay, so I've got 11/8 times 12/5. And now is where I'm going to simplify before I multiply. And 12 and 8 have a common factor of 4. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now I'll multiply across. Top times top, bottom times bottom. So multiply numerators and multiply denominators. 11 times 3 would give me 33 over 2 times 5 is 10. And 10 goes into 33 3 whole times, which would be 30. There'd be 3 left over, and keep my denominator of 10. So 3 and 3/10. All right, go ahead and pause the video now to do 1 and 2 on your own in the check it out section, and then come back to make sure you got the right answer. All right, for number 1, should end up with 2 and 2/9. And for number 2, you should end up with 3 and 19/24. All right, that does it for lesson 5 here in multiplying mixed numbers. Again, the biggest thing, make sure you can go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Let me know if you have more questions, and I'll do my best to help. I will see you next time.